perception is everything. That's what we learned in the Coast Guard. Perception is everything.
Right. And that's the fact of life, and I don't think people understand that, nor do people appreciate that. They think fact is life. Fact is not life.
No.
Fact is not life at all. And it's crazy that it's not crazy. I appreciate that people don't understand that. It's philosophical, but it's so critical that people appreciate.
It's critical. Man.
You're whether you want to believe it or not, you are the center of your world. You simply are. You perceive the world based off of what you see. You don't perceive the world based on facts. There are facts that exist that you don't know about.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, most of the facts you don't know about. They're out somewhere else. You're not going to be able to include them in your own perception of the world and then make some sort of fact-based analysis off of that. You have to basically roll with what you're given.
Right.
Perception is everything. Fuck your facts.
Perception is everything. And I tell everybody, too, you want to know the reason that somebody is acting a certain way that you can't understand, right, is because you don't perceive the world the way that they perceive the world.
Exactly.
Okay? So it's not going to make sense to you, right? That's why all kinds of things just don't make sense at that moment in time in your life. And then you say, I got to look at it from their perspective.
Right.
Oh, okay. Now it makes sense.
And it's so hard to do that. I mean,
it's incredibly hard to do.
You don't want to. Because by even looking at looking at an issue from a perspective other than your own, somehow insinuates that you might be wrong, right? So one, you have to have an open mind, which is uncommon.
Right.
And two, you have to somehow actually put yourselves in their shoes, substitute your own reality for their own, which is insane on its own. And now you have to reconstruct a narrative based off facts that you really don't have. It's very, very difficult.
And my least favorite side effect of that process is that you develop empathy for the person that you're trying to walk in their shoes for. And you're like, man, I know you're a shitbag and I don't agree with anything you're saying, but I actually understand who you are as a person right this second. And I hate it. Absolutely hate it.
Right.
So,
and that's what I think we're trying to do here, right? With this podcast is just bring empathy back. Like, you could be completely on the other side of a debate. That's totally fine. But you don't need to you don't need to bring animosity and hatred and emotion to the thing. Yeah. Just have it out. Because ultimately you're both people are trying to do what's best. Presumably, unless you're talking to the Joker, in which case you're definitely right. But unless you're not talking to the Joker, then you should absolutely do your best to bring empathy to that conversation and realize that both people are they're just trying to do what's best. Yeah. So work together, you'll find an even better solution.
Yeah. Yep.
We could talk about this all night. I actually love the philosophy of state of mind. It's very, very interesting.
I do
and
too.
It's changing
I love that
so
stuff.
rapidly. All across from a physics perspective, even DMT and how that chemical can interact with your brain and literally force change of perspective or give you a perspective you've never had before.
That's all it is just electrical synapses firing around in there.
Yep.
That's,
Yeah. Anyway.
It's kind of terrifying.
It is terrifying.
So I guess one thing that I am dying to know, and I don't know if we want to dive real deep into it tonight or if we want to come back to it another night, but looking at the problem that we have, let's say there's only 10 million migrants that have come into this country, right? In your perspective, right? What do we do as we're looking through their perspective? They're in a new country. Things are wild. They're getting handed a bunch of free shit. It's a nice place to live. It's safer than their old place. It engenders a lot of empathy in me thinking about removing them, right? Forcefully or non-forcefully. But do we just grant them carte blanche citizenship? Do we cut the welfare checks forever? When do we cut it off? What is the end game plan for these people? Has anybody thought about that at all? Like, what's day 2 look like? We're in day 1 right now. What's day 2 look like?
Right. It is.
That's a crazy fucking thought process to roll down.
Yeah. I mean, the thing, like, you brought up a really good point. You're here already. What is the impact going to be on getting you removed? So you're here illegally. Okay. So you're a criminal.
Yep.
There should be consequences for your criminality.
Right. However,
what is the toll on the American people as a result of your actions? What is easier for us? Is it going to be easier for us to simply, institute mass deportation? That is going to be psychologically troubling for a lot of people.
It's going to be on the left really terrible.
And the right, because who knows what corruption is going to occur? How people are going to needlessly die, accidentally die. It's going to be really, really bad.
Is it going to be like Anne Frank? Is it going to be like Nazi Germany?
I don't know.
People hiding in basements and attics to avoid it for one extra day.
Yeah. Or
like, what's it going to look like?
Or we don't do that, and we simply go Iron Curtain on the borders. We just go crazy enforcement, and then start opening up, immigration centers across the country, whatever that looks like. And then every legal alien, you just be like, hey, you have to go here and do this. Otherwise, and you have like a year to do it. Yeah. After that year, if we catch you, we will deport you. You're gone.
See, and that was my thought process too. It was like, you need to self-report. If you don't self-report, we can't trust you.
Yeah.
And maybe we allow for everybody that came over to stay, but we would probably end up having to break up the Springfields and the town you sent me a picture of earlier tonight.
Yeah.
Anybody that's drastically overrun on their infrastructure, because they've developed 50% or even, 30% population growth within 5 years. Like, you got to break that up. You got to spread that around. Right.
Yeah.
But that's separating families. That's separating cultures.
That's another thing.
It's ugly. The whole situation is ugly. And the only thing that this does is make me more and more pissed that Kamala Harris allowed this to happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
We already know Joe allowed it to happen too. He's fired. We're done. Joe got fired. He got fired by his own party.
Yeah.
Okay. Not even for real reasons that he should have got fired for.
Right.
He just got fired.
Yep.
So Kamala Harris is in, and everybody is like running around talking about how she's just the vice president of the United States. She couldn't have made good decisions under the Joe Biden administration. She's just number 2 of the most powerful nation in the world.
Right.
What the fuck does that even mean? That gets me fired up too. Everything about Kamala Harris right now, all the blame game, there's no accountability. There's no sorries. There's no sorry I fucked up. That would go a long way. So I want to know, why anybody is like believing this shit. Why is anybody going down this fucking rabbit hole? Like, it's getting me fired up, because like accountability is huge for me.
Well, according to Kamala, she did a great job on the border. Trump fucked the border up.
Dude, I saw that today. It's fucking...
I don't know how she could say that with a straight face.
Because she
can't. She's
got to be mentally. She's got to be mentally ill or something. Or a psychopath. Something.
She was talking to a delegation or something like that from Poland today or sometime just recently. They asked about the humanitarian crisis and dealing with refugees. And it was a very serious subject, right? We're talking about all the refugees leaving Ukraine. And her response wasn't to address the issue of immigration and whatnot. Not immigration, but people fleeing, all the refugees fleeing Ukraine. Her reaction was to start laughing. Like, this is not funny. This is not funny. right?
It's
We have innocent people, civilians, fleeing from their homelands, seeking refuge in Poland, and your response is to start laughing. It's just like, you're very strange. I don't understand you. I don't understand how you just start breaking out into laughter. There's nothing funny about it. This is her response to a lot of things.
There's just, I have found less and less to like about her and more to dislike about Kamala Harris as the days go by. Like, she would never have made it. And we've already seen it happen. She got 0 delegates, right? It is not possible for Kamala Harris to be the front runner of this ticket. So it's hard for me to imagine why anybody is pushing her on us, right? And what their thought process behind this was. Like, how is this a good thing for anyone? So I don't know. The whole situation is flustering me really bad. Like today, right? It was today that she was on the Oprah show
today or yesterday,
doing that interview, or was that yesterday?
Yeah.
I'm having a hard couple of days, so everything just blends together for the last 2 days. So, like, she's literally on the Oprah show or doing an interview with Oprah. There's no Oprah show anymore, I guess, right? But she's doing an interview with Oprah, and all she had to do, it's a friendly, huge audience. Just tell us your talking points. Don't word salad. Don't laugh. Get to the point. Tell us some meat and potatoes. Word salad. Spinning around. Saying stage over and over and over again. So much so that Oprah Winfrey is like, what the fuck? You know?
Yeah, she had to guide her.
Come to her rescue.
Yep.
Easiest job in the world. Talk about the good stuff you do.
Yeah.
Tell me about what you're doing. And the only time that situation becomes hard is when you don't fucking do anything. When you're do nothing son of a bitch, as my dad says.
Exactly.
You know?
Yep.
And it's harder to pretend not to work or to pretend that you're working when you're not working than it is to actually just work and do good stuff. 3.5 years. 3.5 years.
She's not qualified. She's just not the person for it.
And DEI hire. You know? Biden said, I'm going to hire a black woman. Enter Kamala Harris.
Right.
Thanks for your only qualifications being a black woman.
Yep. You know, you'll like this. Well, you won't like this. I mean, and this is not Jesse being biased or anything like that. I simply typed into this AI. I simply asked, give me a table. What was my exact prompt? Give me a table of the accomplishments for the last 4 vice presidents. So I wanted to know. Give it to me a table.
Right.
Kamala's obviously up first. Her accomplishment is, first thing, she is the first woman, Black American and South Asian American vice president. That's an accomplishment, according to this AI. Yes. And then she played
Congratulations.
She played a key role in confirming Miss Jackson as the first black woman president on the Supreme Court. And then did some other things like led the efforts on the voting rights, even though the bill didn't pass. So I'm not sure why that's on this list. Yeah. Mike Pence, another rather limp dick vice president. Same deal, right? He helped appoint 3 conservative court justices, supported and contributed to the passage of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. Whoop-de-doo. Now, Joe Biden was a decently good vice president. You know, he did a lot of work for Obama.
I'm sure he was all over the place.
He was.
Getting pay to play deals.
Exactly. He was known for being deeply involved in policy decisions, focused on middle-class economies, the middle-class economics, healthcare, foreign affairs. He was particularly involved in Ukraine and Iran.
Weird.
Played a significant role in the implementation of Obamacare. Okay.
Oh, I'm sure he was deeply involved with Russia and China as well.
Neither here nor there. As a vice president, that wasn't his prerogative. And then Dick Cheney, Highly influential in shaping the Bush administration's foreign and domestic policies, played a key role post 9/11, including the development of strategies for the war on terror, the invasion of Iraq, and significant national security decisions, was an advocate for and oversaw the expansion of the executive power. So you can see the differences in these massive summaries, right? We're talking crazy. We have to, you're the vice president of the fucking United States. I need to summarize your 4 years, 8 years of accomplishments into, 2 sentences. And you can see they're packed full of crazy adjectives describing what these guys have done. And you get to Kamala, and it's like, you're black and Asian. It's like, I'm just saying, there's nothing against Kamala. It's just that she doesn't have a lot of experience for this job. It's not even that. She didn't do a lot with her role. She just kind of sat there.
Yeah. I got 2 points, Jesse. I got 2 points. When you're reading an ingredient list, right, usually the first 2 are the main ingredients. And everything else is just some filler and fluff.
Yeah, you're talking about like the nutrition, like the actual ingredients like on the back of a can of soda or something like that. Yes, it goes from the biggest to the littlest.
Yeah. So we're looking at Kamala Harris, and it's black woman.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you're breathing, and you're vice president.
Mm-hmm.
Second thing, as you're reading this, it struck me, right? Cheney and Biden, very active, super fucking corrupt.
Oh, yes.
Pence, fucking definitely not corrupt. Boring as fuck.
Yeah.
Almost as boring as Kamala Harris.
I mean, under Trump, what could he possibly do? It was the Trump show.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's all about Trump.
Yeah.
100%. So it begs the question is like, does that mean that Kamala Harris isn't corrupt because she doesn't have a laundry list like Biden and Cheney, and she looks more like Pence? Or is she just a placeholder?
I don't think she was critical in the campaign. I don't think over the last 4 years, I don't think she played a critical role. Obviously, she didn't. And I think that was fine. She was just there to, kind of
soaking up a paycheck.
Yeah.
We've all met those people in the government.
Totally. It's a time-honored tradition. Right? And go all the way up. I mean,
I tell you, I don't understand how some people can surf the web as well as they can at work. I'm like, you are real good at that. Real good at that.
I don't know about you, but I got chewed out by a certain chief for yelling at somebody who was technically more senior than me because all they would do was browse the internet all day long. And then I got pulled into a room and told that I need to respect rank. I almost told them to fuck you. You're just as bad. But I was already on really bad terms. So I just smiled and yes, chiefed.
Yes, chief.
Yes, chief. Yes, chief.
It's pretty much all you can do some days.
I bet you now he would be a great guy to know. 100%.
Probably.
He's out of the Coast Guard. He's going to be he's probably throws the best, barbecues, has the best of friends, probably a great human being. But god damn, did those anchors go straight to his head. Wow.
Indeed.
All right. Yeah.
So Kamala Harris, Oprah interview. She freaking, it's like a dumpster fire. How do you fuck that up? Right? Like, how do you fuck that up? Everyone's pulling for you. It's going to be friendly. It's literally like you're hanging out at your best friend's house. Right? And not because they're both black women, but like literally they're trying to do the same things.
Oprah has you on to do exactly that. She is just like Joe Rogan in that she makes her guests look amazing, regardless of their ability to speak. It doesn't really matter. As long as you have a thought in your head, Oprah will get that thought out and then make it super articulate and consumable by her audience. That's what she does.
It's a $1 million makeover, dude.
Yeah.
It's a $1 million makeover.
Yeah.
You go in looking like a turd, you come out shining like a diamond.
Right.
Fucking Kamala Harris, still a turd.
I think we're just saying it's just who she is. That is just who she is.
It's just so hard to imagine, right? It's so hard to imagine.
Yeah. You know what I do like about this, though? What I am enjoying in this moment right here between you and I is that what you're feeling right now is what I felt for the first 4 years of Trump. It was just nothing but, oh my God, how is this person still in power? How is anybody allowing him to say the things he's saying?
I get it, dude. I was there for the first 2 years of Trump before I started being like, there's something fishy going on, right? I was like, I honestly checked out of politics for a year, solidly a year.
Yeah, I think we both
I don't think I even paid attention from like 2016 to 2018. Not much.
Go look at our last text message. That was literally probably when it was. I think we both hit a cliff, and it was like, I can't, for different reasons, can't fucking do this anymore. It was just too much. It was too much.
Yeah. And even, a few years into Biden's, I did check out for a while too on that one.
I didn't check back in.
I would pay attention to it. I'd pay attention to it, but I was like, I need a palate cleanser.
I came back after July 12th. I was out, man. I was out doing literally anything but politics. As a matter of fact, every now and then I'd get dragged into political debates from like me and my college friends. But it was rare, a couple times a year about something. And it wasn't identity politics. It wasn't a left or a right thing. It was more of like, hey, here's a function or here's a bill that passed and let's talk about it. But yeah, no, I was out, dude. Like I couldn't do it. I was just so burnt out.
Yeah,
like, I got to take a break. And I was telling everybody, I'm done. Don't loop me in. Like it was getting too toxic for myself.
Dude, it gets bad. It gets bad.
But now there's a new approach here. Now I'm taking this through the lens of not a journalist per se, but just I want to be the the battlefield photographer. I want to be able to look at what's happening, remember it, and then be able to tell a coherent story when things inevitably go to shit. Right?
Gather around, children. Let me tell you something.
Yes, exactly. And so this is a really weird one. I think there's a lot at stake too in this debate or in this election cycle, but I think we're going to find out just how corrupt and how overtly corrupt people are willing to be this election. I think 2016 there was some there, right? 2020 a lot more, and now 2024 are they going to just go way overboard, or are they going to just actually temper it back down to pre-2016 levels because they don't want to be exposed, and then just let whatever happens.
I think the problem is they've already been exposed, right? They exposed themselves in 2016. They went balls deep in 2020, and it is no longer an open secret or a hush-hush wink. It's just there. It's a fact of life, right? We have a broken system. We have a broken government. It is just a shattered remains of the American dream,
Yes.
Is what we're staring at right now.
It's only in the political sphere though. And what's really interesting,
but it has bled over into everything.
Sure. But it's only, again, it's a perception reality thing. If we were to turn off legacy media tomorrow, every network gone, right. I bet you the station would start to heal real fast. Common ground would start to we start to grow back together. This whole left versus right rift would start to heal, because all they do is just talk shit. It's just endless
fan the flames. Shit. They do.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Have you seen Trump's new ad?
Nope.
Oh,
which one?
Man, it's the one where they're talking about political violence and how it's been stoked towards him.
Yes. I have not seen it, but that is exactly what's happening.
It is wild, because it's another one of those commercials or ads where they just use the Democrats' words, the political Democrats' words.
Right.
And it's pretty good. It's pretty damning. I just listened to about an hour or two ago. I was like, I should have sent it to you.
So Fox actually sent one of their reporters down to the Hill, and they did exactly that. Interviewed a bunch of Democrats just representatives, you're walking to and fro. I think they were representatives asking why. So now that there's been 2 assassination attempts on Donald Trump, do you think it's time to clamp down on the rhetoric and stop calling him a threat to democracy? Every single one said no, he is a threat to democracy, and the American people deserve to know.
Right.
Like,
it's like they
don't
begging,
care.
They're begging for someone to shoot him.
Yes.
Is what it is. It's the only reason that they win. It's the only reason that they succeed is somebody shoots him. And it's terrifying that we've gotten to this place in this country where one political party is actively egging on the citizenry to take out their political opponent.
Yeah. It's
That's
big
insane
problem
to me.
It's insane. It's absolutely insane. That's exactly the right word. As a former Democrat, it's appalling.
Oh, that's what I'm trying to say. It's like, that's exactly how we get into a civil war. That right there. I
don't think there's going to, I know this country can't have a civil war.
I say it, but like, people get stupid, man.
But what is,
like, in a situation where we have martial conflict in America, you're going to have people that are going to start acting like it's the purge, right? And then it's going to devolve from there. And then there will be battle lines drawn up months later. But it's going to be wild.
It will literally never happen. It's a fantasy.
I hope it doesn't.
It's a fantasy of legacy media.
Never happens. I hope it never happens.
It won't.
I want to get fat, dude.
It will literally never happen.
I want to eat Krispy Kremes, and I want to freaking hang out and bullshit online with my friends, play video games.
Who would shoot you?
You know, I want a peaceful
Who would
life.
shoot you? Who would you shoot at?
No one.
That's your answer for like everybody. They would, everybody, like,
unless they come up in my shit trying to shoot me, and then obviously,
there's no Republicans anywhere. Sorry, there's no Democrats that live 300 miles from you.
I saw at least one Harris sign in somebody's yard, and I was like, I'm watching you, motherfucker.
That's the point. Like, unless you're in a big city, you're probably conservative, so, and even these big cities, they're starting to lose their Democratic leaning. It's crazy.
Dude, did you see the rally in Long Island?
Yeah.
10,000 people or some shit like that.
Yeah,
in
people
New
lined
York
up outside. Yeah.
They filled out the overflow parking lot.
Yeah.
That's wild.
We will, for obvious reasons, we'll have no idea. I mean, polling is already totally busted, but I would love to see an accurate poll of where people are at right now. Because legacy media would have you and I believe that Kamala is inching ahead of Trump in every poll across the country. No bullshit. I was literally in San Jose, and every person that I spoke to, just a local guy, all voting Trump. Every last one of them, with the caveat they didn't want to talk about it because they didn't want to get sniped.
Right.
Like, all right. Calm down.
Right.
You're fine. I'm not recording you.
Right.
Nor do I.
Right.
I'm in shorts and a t-shirt. I'm not carrying a sniper rifle. Feel free to just speak your mind. And after a while, they would. And they were all voting Trump. Every last one of them.
Yeah.
I didn't find one person who wasn't.
A lot of Uber drivers doing the same thing. And, because, I mean, you get a long Uber, you're taking somewhere, you just start talking about life.
I talk to, like you, it's weird.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not the most personable person. Like, I'm just not. Like, no, people don't approach me. I'm 6'5",
right.
beard. I kind of have, I don't know. Brittany tells me all the time, dude, you look so intimidating, Jesse. Put a smile on your face. No, it's worse. So for the most part, the only time I get a chance to talk to anybody just organically would be in moments like that, Yeah.
Yeah.
And sure enough, it's a lot of fun. Love talking. It was just great to hear that everybody was kind of over this DNC's shtick. They're done.
Yeah.
They're done with the lies. They're done with all of it.
Yeah.
That's very, very cool.
Yeah. It's like, why can't we have nice things? I'm going to say that a lot, but why can't we have nice things? Greed. People are being greedy. They're being stupid.
Yep.
We could have had a really, really amazing presidential debate or presidential candidate, had they not been pulling fast ones behind the scenes, They're
just, especially California, man. They're like weaponizing. They're doing everything they can.
Yeah.
To ensure that Trump doesn't really see the light of day again.
Dude, there's people in California voting.
That's what I'm saying.
Massive amounts. I know.
San Jose.
I'm just saying,
But
can you imagine what it's going to look like if they lose some of these blue strongholds that they've got?
Yeah.
What are they going to be doing?
I want to say this though. It's less that states aren't blue and that people like myself aren't blue or liberal. It's like I still hold on to my liberal values, democratic values, but we have the democratic institution is so corrupt. It is so far gone, that voting for it is literally un-American.
Yeah,
it's undemocratic.
Right.
We have to vote for the independent Trump.
You guys are basically Palestine, right?
Yeah.
And you've got Hamas at the helm,
basically,
and you got to vote them out. You got to send a message.
I mean,
we won't take this shit no more.
So I'm in Washington, and my count. So unless I really don't know. I should go. You on a fucking GoPro. I should get a GoPro and like a virtual what do you call those things? Virtual presence device, and go walk around Seattle with you, being digital Zac. We can go talk to people. I wonder how many people are actually voting Trump this time around, if they would actually even say it.
I don't imagine that you walk up to somebody and they're going to just coming out conservative is worse than coming out gay today in today's day and age, right? And saying that you're voting for Trump is like the scarlet letter, dude. It's not a good look. You get the wrong person. There's people that are punching people in the face for that crap, or have been for the last few years. Maybe not today. The political winds have changed a little bit, but a couple of years ago, I mean, it was like punch a conservative in the face, Yeah.
Yes. The rhetoric, to your point, though, earlier, like where you saw this thing going towards the Civil War, I'd say the opposite. It got so bad that even like people like myself on the left are like, wait a second, what are you talking about? Like my good friend is on the other side. You are on on the other side of the political spectrum. We would never. I mean, we would argue, but that's it. And then we go get lunch, right? Or go get dinner immediately afterwards, right?
Yeah.
That is the extent of that. So
and maybe continue to argue while we're eating dinner, but whatever.
Yeah. That's the fun of politics. But yeah, to your point though, your other point that you're making, in the tech industry, you're advised not to don't talk about politics. You shouldn't do that in the workplace anyway, but especially if you have something positive to say about Trump.
Right.
It is your career on the line if you bring it up.
Right.
That is insane to me. Absolutely insane.
It is insane. It's insane that you can't have an opinion about what's going on in your country, who you want to vote for. That should be like protected speech. That should be like way above even the First Amendment. I mean, that should be constitutionally guaranteed no matter who you are.
Exactly.
You should be able to scream out loud whatever you want about your political party, your affiliations, what you want to do with them.
Right.
100%.
Right.
Because otherwise we are not living in a free society.
Exactly. It's
and I don't want to be anywhere but a free society.
I wonder what it's like in other. So I'm in tech, and so tech obviously leans very, very heavy to the left, right? All of our CEOs are very much invested in the DNC and their program, right? Because they're going to make them very rich, or continue to make them rich as long as they keep power. I wonder if that's true for other industries, or if they're out there.
It is. I'll tell you right now, being in the oil and gas industry, you don't really want to talk about being a liberal or socialist. I got into a heated debate about the definition of socialism with somebody, and they're like, "You keep that dirty ass word out of your mouth." I was like, "Wow, I'm defining it for you, so you're not stupid." He didn't even want to believe that the United States government was a form of socialism, and I was like, homie, you got to understand that there is socialism within our mixed economy.
Right.
It is not just a capitalist society. We don't have a black market for everything.
Right.
We have a mixed economy.
Yeah.
Mixed economies are the best economies. Right.
Yeah. Well, assuming they weren't, ours is massively corrupted, but yes, it could.
Yeah. Ours has been corrupted a little bit. In the premise, though, it is a successful experiment.
Exactly. Interesting. So just breaking news now. The Arizona Supreme Court ruled that nearly 9,000 people whose citizenship documents have not been confirmed can vote in state and local races. Go Gadget, Arizona. This just adds to the ridiculous conspiracy that's happening in that fucking state.
It's because Katie Hobbs is freaking governor there, dude.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, she's doing everything in her power to become a blue state there.
Right.
Everything in her damn power. Like, I really hope Carrie Lake gets the senatorship down there. I don't imagine she will. She got robbed of the governorship. So,
right.
It is what it is. But she's a no-nonsense woman, man. I really appreciate people like her. So, it's going to be a shame if she loses down there.
And that is, I don't suspect she'll win. She certainly has Trump support. But,
yeah.
So there was I can't remember, it was the America Legal First, which is a law firm that has filed a lawsuit in every single county in Arizona.
Yeah.
Forcing them, or at least attempting to force them, to clean up their voter rolls, their voter registries, because they haven't been cleaned.
Right.
At least since the last election. And they found that between 500,000 and 1 million people are currently on the roll that are ineligible, and these counties refuse to remove them. It's not that the counties disagree with their findings. It's that they just refuse to do anything about it. They don't even want to have a hearing out. So now there's a massive lawsuit going on trying to fix this whole mess. So,
see, and that is my least favorite thing about the United States government and our election system, is that you have to do lawsuits, which get dragged out because one lawyer goes, let's just kick it down the road a week,
a month,
and then they just,
a year.
Yeah. We don't have that much time to fix things.
How many days do we have left?
45.
We don't have very much time.
45 days. That is nothing in legal time.
No, that's a sneeze.
Yeah.
So, changing the subject on you,
let's do it.
Are you tracking the Elon Musk versus Gavin Newsom spat that's currently happening right now?
No, I don't even. I mean, obviously, why wouldn't they fight? But what? Tell me about it. I have not heard anything about this yet.
So
I love Elon Musk shit.
Right. So basically, I was about to say a thing that would not be permitted on TikTok. I need to rethink my analogy here. Basically, Gavin Newsom is a giant walking male phallus, okay, flopping around as he goes about his day. Don't get me wrong, he's incredibly educated, he's well spoken, he is I would never win a debate against him ever, because even though he's morally bankrupt, he's just way smarter than I am, and he would just make me look like an idiot because he has all the numbers in his head.
Shiny car salesman of the month.
Of the
swindling old ladies out of their paychecks and their life savings.
So anyway, Elon Musk either retweeted or shared an AI-generated parody video of Kamala Harris. Okay, it was of Kamala Harris. Newsom came in as a white knight. It was like, "Thou shalt not," and literally proposed legislation to ban deepfakes, right? From being a thing. They should not be legal. And so, of course, he rushes this through the legislative process, and he makes it to his desk, and he signs it into law. And immediately out of his mouth, he's like, "I think the first person we should, tackle is Elon Musk. We should 100%, go after Elon for our brand new rule. He should be our first target." Like, what? Like, this guy just is ridiculous. And so I was just curious. You haven't heard about it. You should absolutely dig into this. Because, of course, Gavin Newsom does not like X. He's not a fan.
Right.
He feels that
none of them. Kamala Harris wants to ban it.
Yes, because
day one,
they want these people, Gavin Newsom, the entire DNC, and every ranking Democrat in the United States wants to ensure that misinformation, as defined by them, in the moment, right, must be taken down. And basically, Elon Musk has told them to go fuck themselves, politely and sometimes not very politely.
Right.
They don't like that. And so Kamala Harris has basically said, and she has said several times during her campaign trail, that she wants to regulate the shit out of X. And she wants to bring Musk to heel because he should not have a podium like that.
He is out of line.
Yes.
Out of order.
So anyway, they want to use this idea of misinformation to address that. Anyway, this is kind of interesting, though.
When did they start that Ministry of Truth shit?
I have no idea.
Was that 2021? Where they brought that weird fucking lady in to be the arbiter of truth? They created a whole department. You don't remember that?
No.
Oh my God.
Ministry of Truth?
It wasn't the Ministry of that was from Harry Potter, but it was so it was the Truth Department or some shit like that. Oh.
While you're looking that up, some things to consider here. Because we're talking about deep fakes. This industry is poised to fundamentally change the name of the game of information. It is insanely easy to produce a video of anybody doing anything, saying anything. It will be very, very easy to use this to basically run criminal enterprises. Imagine if you are a fraudster and I am after your bankroll. Like I want access to your bank or something like that. And your company's bank. I could very easily, very, very easily today go grab a couple pictures of your CEO, a couple, I only need 3 seconds of him speaking or her speaking. I put that into my AI's algorithm. Takes a couple minutes. They'll generate their voice. They'll generate what they look like. And now, with that information, I can say, hey, read the script back to me. Or, even better than that, I could do it live. I'm going to say and gesture and emote, but I want you, AI, to take what I look like, make me look like this dude, and make me sound like that guy. Oh, and by the way, change my background to look like his office. And now I'm going to get on a Teams call or a Zoom call with my finance department, say, hey, I just sent you an updated, receipt or bill of sale for this major purchase I'm making, is $600,000. Just go ahead and accept and send the correct stuff over. Your finance team is going to be absolutely, yes, let's do it. Today, what we have is called a business email compromise. It's a triangle of compromise. I'm not going to get into all the details, but basically, a sophisticated team can spend a few months, and at the end of that few months, intercept enough email to inject themselves, make them look like your HR department, make them look like the person you're doing business with, and extort, I should say, redirect a major bill of sale from disbursement to the legitimate, the legitimate business to your bank account. It is business email compromise. I think it's a $1 billion industry. Something like $7 billion were stolen doing this thing. And now with AI, we could do this thing. I could be whoever I want to be, sound like whoever I want to sound like. It is really, really bad. So in that department, we absolutely need legislation and power. That shit does not happen because people are stupid. And detecting AI, possible. That technology does not exist within Zoom and Teams and other platforms like Slack. It's not there yet. And it'll be tough. It'll be tough for those programs to detect it anyway. So this is where the legislation is important, so that the companies that are producing these types of programs have some sort of watermark or something in there that's embedded, or some sort of digital signature that you can always pick up on, or we're fucked. We are literally.
I mean, it's absolutely needs to be. I mean, all of those things you named off, but can you imagine the heinous acts that are going to be done, like what happened with, I'm not trying to defend her, Taylor Swift, right? Where she was getting railed by a football team, because some dude created deep fakes, and like the disgusting other crap that people are going to do with children. I mean, I don't want to live in that world. So I really hope they take that shit seriously. Okay.
Yeah, we need the right legislation to sort it out. Luckily for the most part, all of that is happening in the United States. The
Right.
companies that are able to produce this imagery is happening in the United States. But it's only a matter of time before this is so widely accessible and that other algorithms in other countries are available with zero legislation, zero regulation.
Right.
So it's good.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway.
So what it was not the Ministry of Truth, right? It was the Disinformation Governance Board. And it lasted 3 whole weeks before it just imploded on itself.
Nice.
Right. But everybody was having way too much fun with that. That was meme central in 2021, I think, or 2022, one of the two.
2022. Yeah.
Yeah. That was like the best meme farm right there. That was going to be under good old DHS. Freaking Disinformation Governance Board. I'm excited for the Dodge, is what I'm excited for.
You got to pronounce it right.
Doge. I'm excited for that.
And what is Doge?
That is the government...
Department of...
Department of Government Efficiency.
Yes. Amazing.
Super excited. Yes. Super excited about it.
Yes, and it's pronounced Doge because of the Doge coin, which Elon is also a big investor and primary influencer.
He created it, right? He created it.
Did he? I don't know if he actually created it.
I think he created it. Somebody who worked for him probably created it, but whatever.
It's amazing. So now he's literally going to be the Doge master. I'm just so excited.
I bet you his coin fucking goes up in value pretty hard from that.
Yeah, I have $1 billion in Doge right now because it's going to pop off.
Please do not make me spit my coffee.
I'm not even joking. Do not take financial advice from me.
No, you're not joking. That's why I'm saying, please do not make me spit my coffee.
But when I'm a mega millionaire next year, I will be able to buy you out. We could just go do our tour.
Let's do it.
Thanks to Doge.
Buy me out. It won't be hard right now. Cheap date.
Every now and then I wake up and I'm just like, oh man, wouldn't it be nice if I was fired right now? Like, that'd be so great. I could just focus on doing things I'm actually passionate about. Plus making a CEO even wealthier. All right.
Right. Also, in current events that we're talking about, I wanted to talk about the Border Patrol chief, Aaron Hickey. He's standing in front of Congress talking about all this crap. And he's talking about how the Biden-Harris administration, directly told him to hide data for terrorists that were coming across the border. Hide the data for that shit. They're flying illegals from south of the border into the country so that our border crossings don't look worse. And they're doing abso-freaking-lutely nothing about fentanyl. And they said, don't even worry about it. Focus on all of the other things that, whatever. I heard a stat that basically the amount of people that die from fentanyl in this country is like an Boeing airline crashing every single day.
I believe it, man. I absolutely believe it. It's terrible.
That's horrifying.
Yeah.
So I know we don't always see eye to eye on everything that the government is doing and politics and everything, but for some strange reason in this moment in time, we are very much on the same page on almost every topic. It is a Christmas miracle, right? I just don't understand how the government is getting away with this crap, right? I do not understand why it feels like every time a Republican steps out of line, they immediately are held accountable and get tossed to the wolves, right? But it doesn't seem like that same thing is happening right now with this administration. I don't understand what the hell is going on.
So
I really do not. Like it's blowing my mind.
It is pretty terrible. I heard that the reason why we have fentanyl, kind of blowing up the United States, along with the other cocaine-based drugs and pretty much any of the what it's not barbiturates, but what's the word I'm looking for? The opioids. There we go. All the opioids exploding all over the United States. It's because we're just that's who we are as a culture, Zach. We're Americans. We're drug addicts. That is what I was told. Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. It kind of plays in that narrative, by the way, is again coming from legacy media. They like to say it. They go, yeah, no, this is a problem in the United States because Americans love their drugs. It's like, no.
That's what I've always assumed because people are buying it. People are buying it, right?
This is true for any human population. If you open up any population in the world and you give them free access to drugs, all right, of that population, you're going to have an increase from the day that you had the no market to the day that you had a market. You're obviously going to see an increase in the amount of drug use. That's
people
just the way
trying it.
That's just people. Yeah. That's just what people, and people are going to get addicted. But what they're not taking into consideration is that the FDA has basically opened up the American people as guinea pigs for drugs. The fucking Sackler family just rolled out all of their opioids across the entire United States and every last citizen, getting them hooked in hospitals and under doctor care, right? They created the opioid epidemic. On top of that, we have unregulated borders where the cartels in Mexico are basically the world's drug trafficker into the United States. So it's easier for these places like China to export crazy volumes of fentanyl to Mexico to then interact with local drug, lords to get them into the United States. So it's not that Americans want to do more drugs. It's just that the government is literally in cahoots with all these drug makers, and they're happily, fishing them all across the United States. And as a result, we're just getting sicker and sicker. More and more people are on drugs. And nobody's doing anything about it. Fucking Newsom. Let's just talk about him again, right? He literally was talking today about a poll where 73% of Californians are voting in favor of a law that will once again criminalize drug use and drug sales and things like that. And fucking Newsom, in his high and mighty white palace, was surprised at his constituents. This is not California, and we are better than this. That's literally what he told them. He wants people to be drug addicts on the street.
There's a lot of money in this stuff.
He wants to destroy community. There's a lot of money
in the homelessness stuff.
Yes, he wants to destroy his communities. He wants to ensure that people are scared of each other. He wants to ensure that people are afraid of going outside. He doesn't want the front, all the businesses on Main Street thriving anymore for whatever fucking reason. He wants them to be in turmoil. Like, it's just absolutely nuts. And so for him to come out and tell his own people in the United States, like, hey, it's silly that we're prosecuting drug dealers and drug users. No, fuck you. Like, we want to get this shit out of our country. We don't want this all over, spilling into schools and every other part of our dimension, every other dimension of American way of life.
Yeah.
We had our drug. It was called alcohol and tobacco. Okay? Let's just roll back to that.
I mean, it would be beautiful if people did that. And it's sad that people get caught up in all of that stuff. But what really tears me up about fentanyl, right, is that they're putting it in shit like Adderall, right? Where college students are just trying to fucking get an edge and study better.
Right. And
then all of a sudden now they've got a fentanyl freaking overdose or crippling addiction to the same drug.
Mm-hmm.
It's in all their party drugs and their opioids that they just take to get a good buzz on. Like, that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Like, it almost feels like an actual attack, because like I remember reading some histories where opium, was brought into China and it destroyed their communities and their country pretty good. And even tea, was used that same way. So I kind of understand it as like biological warfare. At this point, China is using it as biological warfare. I'm sure they're subsidizing the whole fentanyl crisis that we're having in the United States. And we're just letting it happen. We're letting biological warfare happen to our citizens in this country. And it's pretty crazy to think about that, from that viewpoint. So I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan.
It's not just like this foreign actor, man. It's literally, again, is this corruption at the root of our government. You know, it's what, Trump says when he wants to go after, kind of like the deep state and whatnot. This is another one of their agendas. I'm telling you right now, and I don't understand why, but the agenda is to disrupt and destroy the middle class of America, right?
Yeah.
And one of the good ways you do that is keep people inside, keep them scared of their neighbor, keep them scared of the next thing that's going to come down the pipe. And if you make their streets look trashy, right, and terrible, where you don't want kids to go outside and play, you don't want kids to socialize, right? Because there's drug addicts, just look at some of the pictures of Pennsylvania, and Pittsburgh and these other big cities where you just have the Walking Dead all over the place because they're taking too much fentanyl, they're taking tranquility, dying. This is happening on purpose. This is not just, some phenomena that's happening right now. We have, epic rates of childhood diabetes, autism, just everything you could possibly imagine that could possibly impact a child's health is happening right now. And it's not random. It is pre-programmed.
Yeah.
And it's working.
The easiest way to put in a caste system, though, right?
Yeah.
Is destroy the middle class, make it so it's impossible to leave poverty, and you own an incredible product. You own people.
Yeah.
And every single one of those people with a small amount of effort, you could offer them an extra $1,000 a month, and you own that motherfucker. Yep. They die for you.
Yep.
Because they need that money to provide for their families, and they'll do anything for it. It is an incredible display of control and power that they're striving for, and it's terrifying. It is terrifying to me.
4 years ago, a family making $75,000, the typical American family making $75,000 could afford to buy a house. That's still expensive. That's still a lot of money. In my humble little brain, $75,000 a year is still like, oh wow, you're doing all right. You should be doing okay. Like, yeah, right. You should absolutely buy a house.
Absolutely.
Today, that's $125,000. So
right.
over the Harris-Biden administration has gone up significantly. And so now, assuming, and part of the reason why it's increasing is because you have, one, inflation is going through the roof. It's getting more expensive to simply just borrow money for a home loan, but those rates are 6% today.
And 20% inflation in 4 years, dude.
Yes.
20%.
It's terrible.
That's terrifying.
People are, so it's harder to, you're making less money. It's becoming more expensive to buy a house. It's harder to buy a house. The supply of houses is going down. Meanwhile, in all of this, you have mega billion trillion dollar companies buying up as many houses as they can so that they can rent them out to those very same people who should be buying a house. So they're crushing the American dream, ensuring that you'll never own a house.
100%.
And so this is just this compounding issue that's eventually something's going to break. Either Americans take back this country for Americans, or we continue to let our government export American wealth and happiness, and then we just give up. Yeah, it's one of the other.
And we just give up.
This is why this election is so pivotal, because you have RFK and Elon Musk at the helm with Trump, right? So Trump is going to do Trump things. I'm more excited that RFK and Elon Musk are there,
100%
to do things with the government, because
100%.
Honestly, if I'm Elon Musk, I'm going in there, I'm cutting 80% of the government. Overnight. You're all fired. You don't do anything.
You exact same thing that Argentina did. Do the exact same thing.
Yes.
Argentina's killing it right now. Killing it. So, I don't know, man. For me, it's if Kamala somehow wins this thing, it's never going to be the same for me. I just am going to lose all faith in my country. 100%. I don't know if I could ever leave my country, but I would really, truly be looking at the door at that point, because then there's going to be things like exit taxes, right? It's going to be harder and harder and harder to leave this country, and they're just going to tax you more and more and more, and we're going to have 90% tax brackets here before too long. And the only way that you get out of that is either you are self-sufficient and off the grid, and you don't make any money that they can tax, or you're incredibly rich and you can hire all of the people that can figure out how to shelter your money.
Right.
And your assets.
Yep.
And there will be no in between. It will be black and white. It will be a caste system. Rich, poor.
Yeah.
That's it.
So
that's all that we'll have left.
Let's talk a second, because we brought this up a few times. But we should actually get into what President Milei, or is that how you pronounce his name? The president of Argentina? Milei?
I think there's like a little swoopy on there.
Yeah. You know? So anyway, the president of Argentina, okay? With the POA, as I'm going for the rest of this conversation, POA. So what POA did, he called it shock therapy. And this is what he was going to do to the country, right? And he implemented this the second he came into power, to address crazy inflation that was going up, and killing the country. He devalued the peso by 50% just to stop the bleeding, right? Nobody wants to hear your currency's been devalued by 50%, but it gives everybody wiggle room. Okay, it gives you a little bit of wiggle room, a little bit, you can breathe a little bit more. So he immediately went in, started working on monetary reforms and fiscal reforms, and in his first few months was starting to get surplus out of the government by massively cutting public spending. So reducing the number of government ministries, cutting agency budgets, firing a whole bunch of people, taking all that money back and giving it right back to the people. He did that by cutting taxes. Okay, so he deregulated and privatized a bunch of shit. So let's see here. This decree he called it 70-2023, which involved over 300 measures touching sectors such as liberalizing the rental housing market, removing import and export restrictions, and setting the stage for privatizing more than 24 state-owned companies that were taking over. They were massive monopolies that were massive stranglehold on the Argentinian company. He's like, well, guess what? You're mine now. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Right? You're no longer going to rob my people dry.
Right.
He stepped in and did the same thing to the central bank. He fired a whole bunch of people and brought in new folks to basically stabilize the gap between what was happening in the previous administration and today. Goodness sakes, he addressed inflation and currency controls by bringing in a whole bunch of more measures to go and tackle that. He was huge on public and political response, so he made sure that his fucking government was actually for the people as opposed to just siphoning off and money at their own for their own needs. And this list goes on and on and on. But he stopped the socialist and Marxist shit that was happening at the time and he nosedived into free market principles and basically took the free market playbook and started at the top and worked his way down.
Yeah. And it's winning for him.
Yeah.
It's winning for his country.
Yep.
Right. It is an incredible transformation of their economy, of their nation,
Yes.
And I really hope we get the opportunity to follow right in their steps,
Well, what, dude? And so here's the conspiracy theory in me, this conspiracy guy in me. One, I don't think Trump is going to win, right?
No.
All you have to do
I want him
Trump
to
out.
so bad. I want him to so bad, but
you take Trump out. You don't have to worry about RFK. You don't have to worry about Elon Musk. And
Right.
those two people alone, with the stuff that they're going to do, they're going to cripple so many of these corrupt companies and industries that have taken over the American government, especially as it impacts our health and the way we live, that there's no way. They're way too rich. Not to mention, I would not be at all surprised to see that these three-letter agencies are all in cahoots with a lot of this shit, right?
Not all of the, not to their roots, but at least the upper leadership of all of these three-letter agencies, right? Not the rank and file,
right?
Just the ones that they can control because they've got them filming them fucking a dog or something.
They all went to Elon. They all went to, not Elon, sorry. They went to Epstein's Island.
Yeah.
Shit like that.
Yeah, they've got dirt on them.
Yeah.
Right. So I want to bring up one other thing too, because it's kind of an undersold country, but El Salvador's president is killing it too. You know, he implemented anti-corruption measures where the people in his government have yearly audits of their finances. And that's amazing, right? He's like, basically, you get the death penalty if you're caught being corrupt.
Nice.
You're done.
Right.
And he's like, here's your yearly audits, and it's really cool to see that happening down there, because El Salvador's had a really rough run till this guy came. I don't even know his name, but I know his face, so I see him every now and then talking.
Right.
And he's down there kicking ass. I love to see that happen within the world, because we're all human beings in this world, and I would love it if we got along. But that's pretty fucking impossible, because just like state rights need to be a thing, other countries, have to have their freedoms to develop their cultures and be who they want to be, right? And no one person is right. It's just, can you get along with another person's culture or not? Right. You can't go into somebody else's country and be like, you can't do that. It's immoral.
Somebody should tell our government and the CIA.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But like, who are you to tell another country that's been doing things for 1,000 years that it's immoral, right? Mm-hmm. Shut the fuck up. They think that we're immoral for allowing gay people to do what gay people do, right? Live and let live. But yeah, like, it's really hard. Tribalism is hard. Cultures are hard. Human beings are hard. We're all people, and I love that human beings are running around in this world and doing their thing. But I really would like to see an end to the globalist initiatives, right? And there's a lot of people that are saying that if Trump gets elected, the globalist initiatives are dead, right?
Not true.
He just puts a fork in it, right? And maybe that's supposed to scare somebody, but that just is like, you already had my vote, right?
Trump is only going to be president for 4 years.
I know.
That's a blink of an eye, man. He'll be
in and out. But they were terrified. They were terrified enough of him in 2020 that they had to do something, and
I hate to
now they're trying to put a bullet in him. So obviously they're scared of something.
No, to rain on your parade, he's just slowing things down. It's a road bump. And so if you're the CEO of a company and you can make a change that's going to ensure that your company continues to, accelerate in growth, you're going to make that change. And the change for these guys, who's basically treating the entire world as a giant company, is like, well, we got the CEO of the United States. He's kind of stepping out of order. Let's go ahead and get this guy replaced. Let's fire him and get somebody in there that actually go with the whole, the organizational agenda. And that person is Ms. Harris. Right? That's what it is. Now they're going to have to wait 4 more years. Like, fucking Americans ruining everything for everybody.
What if he has the opportunity to make it so that it's just almost impossible?
I would love that.
To come back.
But it's not true.
That's what I'm saying. That's where I'm at. I'm just hoping that he puts enough stop measure in that it just permanently kills their dreams for at least the next 100 years.
You know how you do that? You do that by basically dealing with all of this crazy legacy media. The fake news, as he calls it, he has just to somehow deal with that. They can no longer have a stranglehold over the narrative that 90% of the Americans listening to.
All they need to do is re-put that law back in that Obama got rid of back in 2012.
Which was?
I've got a picture of it. But basically, it made it so that propaganda was legal within the United States.
Oh, interesting.
It's like SB something or other. I'll look it up and I'll send it to you.
Okay.
I might have sent it to you in the past because we probably had the same conversation before. But implementing that so that people actually have to do investigative journalism again, otherwise they get the ever living fuck suit out of them. That they just can't say whatever they want on air about whoever they want on air, right? You got to have some kind of facts and something backing it up.
So, do you want some bad news?
Please.
All right. Are you familiar with the second assassination attempt on Donald Trump?
Yes. Was there a third one in like the last 5 seconds?
There was not a third one. However, DeSantis said that he was going to take over the investigation, and the state was going to run it.
Yes. They were like, no, you're not.
The federal government is blocking that, saying, no, you're not.
Of course they are.
We are going to run this investigation. You're not going to touch it.
Of course they are.
Shocking.
And now they just need to start legal battles, which will go nowhere, and then the federal government will sit on it. And I'm not surprised at all.
Can't the governor...
This is what's happening.
Can't the governor... Like, are you telling me that an FBI agent has more power than the fucking governor?
This is also why a lot of people on the conservative side don't like big government and the federal government.
Because if I was Ron DeSantis, I would tell the FBI to get the fuck out. Like, if you're sitting on Trump's golf course, like, one, Trump doesn't want you there, and I don't want you there. Leave. Yeah. Right? I will pull in my National Guard and remove you by force if I have to, but we are conducting this investigation. We don't trust you. Yeah. But apparently that's not happening.
I mean, you're dangerously close to secession.
That's not secession. That's just, I mean, Texas. So Greg Abbott did it in Texas, right? Where he was like,
I don't think so.
No, he did. He kicked the Border Patrol out. And he said,
he kicked the Border Patrol out of a certain area, but then there was legal battles about whether or not he was even able to do that.
But he did it.
Maybe he did.
I mean, he did do it. It did happen. It all unfolded, right? You can go watch the news. But if Greg Abbott could do it, it could, legal or not, he fucking did it. That's my point. If I'm DeSantis, if I was DeSantis right now, that's what I would do. Like, I don't give two shits.
He might be doing that. He might be doing that right now.
He was literally on Fox saying that he can't. He's blocked. So I was like, fuck. Here we go again. And also it's super interesting. If you go back to the original investigation, the July 12th, like the FBI was fucking on top of that roof right after they got the body off, washing it down.
I know, spraying it down with a hose. It's too steep to be up there.
But so anyway, clearly they're hiding evidence. There's no other way to look at that. They're hiding evidence.
Apparently they were on Capitol Hill today talking about what was going on, and everybody's just like,
I think today or tomorrow, maybe next week now, but
people are getting fired.
They're supposed to have a report. The Senate is releasing a report on this. I'm going to look for it right after this podcast. Apparently there's a report on it, and the senator who is leading the investigation said Americans are going to be, quote, shocked and appalled at our findings.
Yeah.
Fuck yes.
Yeah.
Bring it.
Please. Shock and appall me.
Yes. For God's sake, we absolutely have to.
Something needs to be happening.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm having just a hard time dealing with the level of stupidity that I feel is happening every day in our country. I'm really having a hard time with it, Jesse. There's some days where I just sit and talk to myself in the car while listening to the news, saying very unflattering things.
It is. I mean, I don't know what to do about it other than this. This is it.
This is it. This is my outlet. This is where I come.
Yeah. No, it's pretty terrible. So here's another bit of shittiness for you. This actually goes back to Georgia, where one of the individuals who was responsible for overseeing, like, you know, the counting and whatnot of the of all of the ballots basically went before the Georgia Secretary of State and was decrying the complete legality of how the counting was handled. He said that 1.7 million electoral ballot images, which are required federally and at the state level, okay, are fucking missing. They're gone. Okay? They're all gone. And the Georgia Secretary of State was like, well, we don't have enough money for all the memory cards. And he's like, well, you had a $2 billion surplus. This would have cost $20,000. You can't argue that. And literally the guy was like, oh shit. He literally just was like, okay, are we done here? Move along.
End meeting.
Yes.
Gavel strike.
Yep. That's basically what happened. And so this is coming out. This came out today. This is literally just happened today. 1.7 million election ballot images gone. They are unable. They can't find them.
They never existed, Jesse.
Probably not.
They never existed.
Yep. I found
Georgia was a tight race. Wasn't it like 10,000 votes that went to Joe Biden?
16,000, I think.
Like, not many.
No.
Not many.
No. So, on an independent news channel. So let's go back to 2020, okay? Independent news channel. They're watching all of the races. They're looking at Wisconsin. They're looking at Pennsylvania. They're looking at all these states, okay? And at roughly, 4-ish in the morning their time, okay? It was 4-ish in the morning at some of these states' time, really early in the morning, late at night, whatever it is. They're looking at, they're seeing this consistent graph that's like has this nice, expected, growth, right? And it's a perfect curve, right? And then all of a sudden, in the middle of the night, that curve stops, it spikes, and then resumes the curve. And the thing is, so first of all, from a counting perspective, if you look at every single election that we've had across the United States anyway, that's never happened. It's complete anomaly data. But the fact that this has happened in state after state after state, these commentators are looking at it like, first of all, this makes no mathematical sense. That this is literally an impossibility. The number of votes that we're talking about here are in the tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, that are contributing. It's hundreds of thousands, rather, that are contributing to this spike. And the other statistical anomaly, other than that itself, is that they're all for Biden. They're all Biden. Not a single fucking vote in those spikes went to Trump.
And they're all mail-in ballots too, right?
They in this particular video didn't actually say. But and so they look at Wisconsin and they look at Michigan, same thing. And on all the cases, the spike was all just enough to get Biden in the lead.
Right. And just enough.
And by the way, they were looking at this live and none of them could explain it. Like, no, this doesn't make any sense. This is not how this process works. You don't just suddenly have these spikes. And if you did, you would have, a mixed number of Republican and Democrat votes in there presenting, the output of that constituency.
Right.
Fuck no, it was all Biden every fucking time.
Bro, do you know what I want, Jesse? Do you know what I want? Match of the century. I would love to have the you of today debating the you of 3 months ago. That would be the best thing that I've ever seen in my entire effing life.
I refuse to give you another popcorn moment. It won't be free. Yeah.
That would be the best day of my life. Right there.
Yeah. This is the thing, right? It's one of those, this whole deal, you have to look into it. You have to take the time to do a little bit of reading, a little bit of listening to other people's opinions, researching what they're talking about, finding a name, pulling a thread, continuing to pull the thread, and then you get somewhere and you're like, oh, I'm so disappointed in my country right now. Yeah. It is okay.
And then you just do it over and over and over and over again.
If you look at the psychology of this, though, and the impossibility of the ask, okay, so I can go back to I can literally go back to July 11th and channel that mental energy because it's so fresh.
Right.
I would not, if you were to send me a link that was, what did I tell you? It had to be AP or it had to be Reuters.
Had to be AP or Reuters.
Right. Or it could be, I would give you a CNN. Sure, you can give me a CNN. You can give me a Politico, any of my favorite, any of the left-leaning stuff. I'd also take that. Right. I wouldn't take any of your Foxes or anything else, okay, if it was conservative. Because in my brain, it was Reuters and AP were very much neutral. They were just reporting. And,
oh, man.
Okay, listen. So that was, and that, by the way, was not an uninformed opinion. I spent a long time distilling and weeding out shit. You and I both did it.
I know.
And so I rested my case with AP and Reuters. I'm like, okay, these guys are pretty fair. So anyway, if it wasn't trying to click a link even from those two sources that did not sit with my narrative, with my view, even just clicking the fucking link to read something that might push me in a direction I'm not comfortable in going, I may or may not have clicked on it. I'll be honest with you. I may have looked at the title and been like, nah, this is horseshit. I don't even need to read it, Zach. You're crazy.
I remember arguing with you about AP in 2018, 2019, right? And I was like, I get that you only want AP articles, right? Reuters articles. I get it.
Yep.
I get it, what you want. But I was like, what in the fuck is this article about Donald Trump? How is this article fucking neutral in any way, shape, or form? And I sent it to you, and you read it, and you're like, well, it doesn't seem very neutral. That's the best I got out of you. But he's like, it's got to be accurate. It's AP.
Yeah.
It's like,
they keep getting caught with their pants down, though.
I watched.
It's worse and worse.
I read
now.
an AP article just the other day, and they were using data from 10 years ago.
Yeah.
For why? For why?
Yeah.
You have data from today. It's not that hard.
No.
Like, what the fuck is that?
I don't know. That's why.
I bet you they changed editors in the last couple of years and you just didn't catch it.
Maybe.
It's some 24-year-old liberal arts degree.
I stepped away from Reuters and AP and everything else from that. I was playing League of Legends. Okay. I was grinding. I got up to Emerald. All right. And I almost got to Diamond before I got sick of that fucking game too.
Yeah.
That's what I was doing in my life. It was much better than this. I don't have existential crises every fucking night. But yeah, no.
That's for sure.
Yeah, it is.
Dude, I've been having some weird dreams since I've been doing this podcast, man. Like, I've been waking up and I'm like, it's just like heartburn, man. Heartburn. Because like I have followed the news. I love it. I dig into the crazy crap, but since we've been doing the podcast, I've been like really digging into stuff.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't want to know that. I didn't want to know that. Because there was some ignorance.
Yeah.
There was some ignorance,
Would you like some good news?
I always want good news, Jesse. You know me.
I actually got some good news today. And this actually happened today. The House passed a bill, 405 votes to 0, that mandates equal Secret Service protection to all major presidential candidates.
Yep. I saw that. And that was amazing. That was amazing.
Thank you, God. So now, presumably, the Senate is going to pass this as well, unanimously.
Well, if it's 50-50, Kamala Harris is going to have to vote on it, and she's probably going to be like, nope, can't see how this is going to go wrong if it doesn't pass.
Yeah. I don't think it goes 50-50. I think it goes 100%. I think it goes...
I hope so. Yeah. I hope. And if it doesn't go 100%, figure out who that senator was, what state he's from, and your state needs to knock it the fuck off and vote them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. I was very, very pleased with that result. You want to get back into the not so great stuff?
Yeah, let's hear it.
All right, so back to Ryan Ruth, our favorite second assassination guy. So the question becomes, how did a man with no money, paying for child support, suddenly start having the ability to live in a house in Hawaii, travel to places like Taiwan, Turkey, Poland, and Ukraine.
Yeah.
Find himself in Florida with a gun, ready to kill President Trump?
Mind you, this guy has a successful business in Hawaii building houses. Okay. They built one house. One house.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. This dude, there's no way he had money. There's no way he's doing this crap. There's no way that he's meeting heads of, organizations that he was being photographed with.
Right.
Okay.
So he gets press from the New York Times to Newsweek.
How did he wind up with his go bag of assassins treats? How?
Well, he had a grand total of $68 in his bank account. Somehow. Okay. This random ass dude, right, has been on all these local papers. He's been in the New York Times and Newsweek. What, to quote Zach, what the fuck is going on?
I remember
understand.
We started talking about this dude, what, a week ago?
Yeah.
A little bit less than a week ago.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm like, there's something here, Jesse. And you're like, what? What's there? I was like, there's something here, Jesse. And you're like, I don't even remember the BlackRock commercials, right? And I'm like, sending them to you.
Yeah.
And I haven't gotten confirmation that he was actually in a BlackRock commercial, Ryan Ruth, right? Not the other guy, Crooks, right? Crooks was in a BlackRock commercial for sure. But that Ukrainian video, right, where he's over in Ukraine, standing with him, face painted,
yeah,
American flag wrapped around his throat like he's the greatest patriot ever.
Sure.
I don't know if that was a BlackRock commercial, right? That would be too much coincidence, right? But something fishy is there. Something
really
is there.
Weird. This whole thing is just super fucking strange.
Like you don't fly from Hawaii, right, with a gun. You don't. Hawaii's got very strict gun laws. Okay. It is very expensive to own firearms there. So he didn't fly with that in his baggage, right? So now he over in Florida, right, with this AR with the serial numbers filed off. How did he get that? I'm going to re-ask that about 14 more times tonight.
That's the question.
There's no way he should have been able to get that weapon. No way.
I don't know how. I mean, I don't know. Just as an average American citizen, if I wanted to go buy an SKS with the serial number stamped out, I'm not sure where I would go to do that. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And then not to mention,
do you contact your local drug dealer?
I would
get that.
I mean, I live near Seattle, so I know the streets I would go down. But I don't know.
You probably wouldn't be buying a gun. You would probably be getting robbed.
Yes, I would definitely end up getting robbed. 100%. Have you seen the Always Sunny in Philadelphia episode where they go try to buy guns? Where Dee and I think it was his brother, her brother. They try to go buy some guns, and it's a complete shit show. I'm getting robbed several times. Yes, it's amazing.
That show is amazing.
That show is absolutely amazing.
The cat food episode is my favorite episode. It is out of control.
So apparently, the other thing that people are saying about Ryan Ruth is that he had like upwards of 100 charges. Against him, 100 different counts to his name, but he has never been in jail. What kind of are they? Parking tickets? What are they,
dude? This is the kind of crap that makes me believe in like the deep state, right? The Epps, Ray Epps, the Ryan Ruths. They've got to be part of that intelligence of our country. They've got to be. It doesn't make any other sense to me than they're a controlled asset.
It's absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane. And then this goes back to the random tweet that the CIA had a few days after January or July 12th, where they're like, we definitely didn't MK Ultra that dude. It's like
no one's even talking about MK Ultra, man.
Yeah, yeah. And so suddenly they're like,
no one was even talking about it. Now everybody's like, what is that? What is that?
To borrow a Bart Simpson quote, that was a very strange thing to say. No, it was sure. What a weird thing to say.
What a weird thing to say.
Yeah. It really does. I mean, they just really were they just? It's like the kid in the corner. He wants to be part of the conversation. It's like,
Yeah.
Wait, we were here too. Shut your mouth, CIA. Now we all know. Anyway,
dude, I don't know.
Can we also just quickly? We're kind of circling, Biden here. There's not a lot to talk about him. There's not a lot to talk about. We started at the start of the day, though. We started the conversation. Maybe, I don't know if I was recording it or not, that Jill Biden took over a cabinet call.
Yeah.
And on Biden's way out, it wasn't like Jill was there with Joe Biden. No. She replaced Joe Biden. And on Joe's way out, he was like, what was the quote? Go get him, kid?
Go have fun, kid. Or, go get him, kid.
Yeah. And then
that's what it was.
And then he just literally mic dropped, and Jill was like, "Okay, I'm running the meeting now." What?
Back to your point the other day, dude. Why he's out on the beach hanging out? He's checked out. He doesn't care anymore, and he wants everyone to know that he is not running this show.
No.
Right? And when number one drops out and is no longer running the show, number two is running the show, right? And also doing an incredibly terrible job about it.
Well, number two,
which is not
you can see all the marionette strings. Like her problem. Oh, so Joe, very good. Okay, Joe knows that the marionette strings are up here and that he just needs to do this. Okay.
Yeah.
Miss Word Salad, she's like all tangled in that shit. She's trying to get straight again, and she looks like a shit show for a reason because she doesn't know how to play the game. Right? This is not her thing.
She should know how to play the game. She's been playing it for 40 years.
Well, there's a big difference between AG of some city or a state versus what's happening on Capitol Hill.
She's vice president of the United States right now.
You say that, and I keep on forgetting. It really goes to show just how removed she has been from this presidency.
I have to keep reminding myself because she is so fucking incompetent that she is number 2 of the United States. Right? Because I'm like, maybe she's having a bad day. And then I'm like, fucker, she's number 2 of the United States.
Right.
That should mean something.
But here's the thing. We just got through, we've been doing this for an hour and a half now, basically saying that 2020 was rigged. Okay?
Yeah.
She was a DEI.
Yeah.
And, it was Biden that won, not her. And so he was a part of the ticket that won. But so she shouldn't have been there in the first place.
Right.
Biden shouldn't have been there in the first place. It should have gone to Trump, most likely. And so that's what we're seeing. We're seeing gross incompetence. At least Biden has 50 years as a senator and a representative. So at least he's got that. He knew the people. He knew how to play the game.
Yeah, he knew
and
how
then
to play the
game. He got too old.
I think some days when his brain is actually there, he knows how to play the game because he put that fucking Trump hat on.
That was amazing. Yeah. No, he knows what's up. What are they going to do? Kill him? Bro, he's 80.
Probably.
80 something. Who cares?
Dude, okay. I got one last thing I want to ask you. Did you watch that video where Kamala Harris is hanging out with Willie Brown? Did I send that to you?
Yeah.
And some reporter is like talking to her, and she goes, "Are you his daughter?" And she's like, "No."
Yeah.
And I'm like, absolutely a call girl. That's how she started her political career. High-end escort. Sorry.
I don't know about that.
That's a hill I would die on.
You would definitely die on that hill.
I would die on that hill.
But no, it's not invalid to think that you schmooze and you win. You ride coattails and you win. You make the right friends and you win. You go to the right parties and you win.
It's networking. It's networking.
Yeah, I watch.
It's how it works.
I refuse. I am the worst. Like I've said it a million times today. I'm just not I'm not very social in the first place. I love talking to people and whatnot, but I'm not. It's just I don't know. It's not my thing. That's why you're here. You're that icebreaker. But at work it's the same deal. It's like I've been around, been doing this. Been at my current job for like 10, 11 years, and I'm slowly climbing in corporate ranks, doing my thing. It's great.
Yeah.
Couldn't ask for anything less. But I'm watching some of my peers climb exponentially faster, and they're not nearly as talented, but they are in the right meetings, going to the right barbecues, going to the right bars, playing in the right games, doing all the right things because they know how to play the game, and I don't hold it against them.
They know how to do the Hawk Tua, man.
They do, and the great thing is that again they're my friends, right? So we were very junior at one point together, and now they're very senior. And I was like, now I got the hookup, but it's like, what the fuck are you doing up there? Like, do you even know what we're doing? Like, do you understand why we're here today?
Yeah. Well, it's okay. So like watching Hillary Clinton's career, right? She did the same thing, right? She was just holding a position so that she could move on to the next position. She didn't have any business being Secretary of State. She was just there so that she could run for president. Okay. And that is the same truth for every job and position she's ever had. Okay. Like if you look back at it with the same glasses you have on right now, you will be like, holy shit. Just a shit bag.
I mean, that's also a very common thing. Once you get to a certain echelon,
with all politics.
You just kind of float around and do the things. And guess who might be our next Secretary of State?
Oh, no.
Yep. So the subliminal messaging between Zac and I right now is Hillary Clinton was asked if she would support Kamala Harris if she needed it. And she said, absolutely, I would.
Where is Secretary of State on the assassination fucking role of president? How many people does she have to kill to become president as Secretary of State?
Too many.
But feasible in an afternoon.
I don't know. Are you looking it up right now?
I'm going to look it up.
I'm not going to look it up. Then I'll let you look it up. Yeah, it is whatever. Let's see. Is there anything else? Oh, so we were talking about Gavin Newsom. It was Proposition 36 that he was talking about in terms of Californians, that 71% of Californian voters are planning to support the measure, which jails drug traffickers and shoplifters. I missed that last bit. I'll just repeat it. So Proposition 36, right, will ensure that drug traffickers and shoplifters are imprisoned. And in response to this news, Gavin Newsom said, and I quote, "It would bring us back to the 1980s. The impact this would have on black and brown residents is next level." He is a lying, sociopathic, racist piece of shit. Fuck you, Gavin Newsom.
He is all of those things.
He's ruining one of the greatest states in the union. Ruining it.
Yeah. I mean, every single governor, including Schwarzenegger probably, has been ruining that state. It's just been getting progressively worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
I remember California in the late 90s, early 2000s being just this beautiful, amazing place to go. School systems were great. Everybody was happy.
College system
Everybody
amazing.
Was wealthy. You know, it was turning out a fantastic product.
Yeah.
You know, now it's a fucking turd. Also, Secretary of State. Guess how many?
Okay, let me take a guess. We got president, vice president, the Secretary of Defense.
Mm-mm.
No? Who's number 3?
Speaker
of the House. Okay. Speaker, and then is it the Senate? Senate after him?
President pro temp of the Senate.
Yes. And then 6? 5?
Hillary.
Huh?
Hillary. Then Hillary.
She's number 5.
She's technically 4. If the president goes down, she's number 4.
Wow.
That's not even fucking a handful of people she's got to murk to get fucking prez.
That's never going to happen.
Easy. That's an easy afternoon for her.
They are those.
That's an easy afternoon for her.
As far as I know,
unaliving the shit out of people.
The Clintons are only good at unaliving people in their backyard in Arkansas, especially if they're kids that just saw a drug deal go down next to some train tracks. Are you familiar with that story?
Nope.
My God, I'm not going to bring it up here.
Okay, tell me offline. You know what's funny, right? Because like I never really thought poorly of the Clintons until I was in the Coast Guard and I had an old salt tell me a story about when he was serving under Bill Clinton, and they were running some kind of a protection detail off of their boat. Right, they were out at sea. The Clintons were out at sea, and Hillary Clinton could not stand the sight of her protection detail. So they sent them over the horizon. Okay. You can't see the president at that point. So anything could happen, and you're running protection detail on them, and you're going to send them over the horizon. Like, what kind of sense does that make? And they're in a small boat, right? Running protection detail for the president over the horizon. I was like, that was that glass shatter moment for me,
right,
with the Clintons.
Yeah,
and then I just started digging into it and figuring out what kind of pieces of shit they were. I was like, wow. Not a good look. It wasn't a good look.
No. So here, I will end us with a story. Okay.
Okay.
I'll end us with the story. It's a good story. It's a terrible story, actually. All right.
Story time with Jesse.
Yep. So, in the dark of the night, under the cloak of Arkansas's rural silence, a tale unfolds that haunted the state's underbelly for decades. The mysterious death of two boys, Don Henry and Kevin Ives, found on railroad tracks near Alexander, Arkansas. It was August 23, 1987, when the locomotive horns pierced the night, too late to stop the inevitable. The boys, just 16 and 17, were discovered by the train's light lying on the tracks. The initial verdict, it was an accident. They allegedly fell asleep there, incapacitated by marijuana, or so the story went. But whispers began, spreading like wildfire. Sightings of low-flying planes, the mention of a green tarp covering the bodies, details that didn't fit the narrative of the accident. These whispers grew into shouts when evidence of drug trafficking in the area surfaced. Another town, Mena, Arkansas, wasn't just a smaller town. It was allegedly a hub for drug smuggling operations, with rumors linking these activities to the Clintons.